Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's working.
Okay.
All right.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome to the show. Maybe you can just start off just telling me your names, where you're from, and how long you've been mummering.
Okay, well, my name is Janine White, and I'm originally from Ferryland on the Southern Shore. And I've probably been mummering. My first experience mummering was when I was a teenager, so probably close to 30 years ago. And I haven't done it every year since then, but I've done it, well, probably 15 or 20 of them in that length of time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm Craig Pike from St. John's. I've been mummering since 2000?
Probably 2001.
Thereabouts,
No,
yeah.
maybe one or two.
Yeah, one or two.
Yeah.
Yeah, thereabouts.
And pretty much every year ever since.
Every year,
Yeah.
ever since.
Yeah.
With her, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. So, maybe the best place to start is just to tell me about your earliest memory of mummering, whether or not you were doing it yourself.
Well, when I grew up, there were always mummers in our house at Christmas. Like, it was just normal. Every Christmas, during a lot of the nights of Christmas, anywhere from Boxing Day to the 12th night, there would be mummers in our house. And my parents always went into mummers. So usually there'd be a crowd come in, everybody'd have a drink. I'd be a little bit afraid because I didn't know who they all were, but they all knew me. And they would take either my mom and dad with them and go off in the mummers. So there's always been mummers in my house at Christmas.
Wow.
Yeah.
How about for you?
Mine was, hey, I'm going up the shore for mummer and you want to come with? I was like, okay, I've heard of it. I've never done it before. I heard my mother talking about it. She's from Kings Cove. She used to go when she was smaller, and she told me the occasional story on it. But
Your mom used to go mummering in Keels.
Keels?
With her grandparents. Yeah.
You see, she pays attention to that.
Yeah, she did.
But yeah, no, I went up. I had no idea to a degree what I was getting into, but it was a good bit of fun. I didn't know anybody. I just went along for the fun.
Yeah.
Free booze.
And the free booze helped. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Booze? Mummering?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
So this is like a pretty simple question, but some people obviously even here don't know what mummering is. Like, could you sort of tell me in a nutshell what is mummering?
If I had to explain to you and you didn't have a clue.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Okay, so it's kind of like Halloween for adults. They get all dressed up in the craziest clothes they can find, anything mismatching. Usually you try to describe or disguise your gender. Like if you're a woman, you try to go as a man, and vice versa.
Yeah.
You try to disguise your shape, you disguise your voice, everything about you. And you go usually to houses of people that would know you, and they have to figure out who you are. And it usually involves some kind of singing or carrying on and dancing and a few drinks and a good time. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Can you tell me, maybe Janine, you can start too, and tell me about the first time you ever went mummering yourself?
There was a family friend of ours who said, come on, let's take the youngsters and go mummering. This was some night during Christmas. And so we all rigged up over at her place, and most of the kids were younger than me, and I was a teenager at the time, so I was pretty tall. So they were trying to rig me out like an adult.
Yeah.
And they took us in the car to some places that they knew, and it was a little strange. I still remember standing up in the kitchen, in her kitchen, with something over my face, trying to see and whatever. And anyway, her husband was in the far room, like in the living room, singing out, "Sure, that one there, that must be a man." And, well, I'm not sure how to put this nicely, but the lady came over and checked me out. And she said, this is what I remember. She said, no, that's a woman. No, that's not a woman, that's a man. No, boy, that's a woman. I felt her up, that's a woman. And that's exactly what I remember about my first night mummering. I thought, okay.
Then you went back.
Well, you know,
It was booze, wasn't it?
I don't know. We were only kids. We didn't
It was booze.
drink then. But I remember, and that's the only house I remember going to. Although I'm pretty sure we went to other houses. So maybe for obvious reasons, that's why I remember that one. But yeah, I was a teenager, I think.
Yeah.
I think it was the first time we went.
Okay. How old as a teenager do you think?
Oh, I don't know. 16 maybe? 15 or 16?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. And how about yourself?
For me, went up the shore to Fairyland with her. Went out with. It was your father was driving us around the first night, wasn't he, for a bit?
Oh, yeah, he was. Yep.
He drove us around for a couple of houses, and I forget who else was with us. Anyway, I can't remember.
No,
who,
I remember, yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember who exactly was with us, but going into the first house, I don't remember. The only thing that I actually remember was, I think it was one of the last homes we went into, and all night long, nobody could guess me, because they didn't know who I was. It was my first trip up to Fairyland.
Yeah.
And so I was, Janine's man, that'll do. So off would come the pillowcase that I can only see out of one hole in the eye for the eyes. But we were at one house, and your father was stood up in the porch behind me and trying to guess who I was and asking where I'm from and naming all the communities around Fairyland. And all I heard is her father say in the background, "Worse, he's from town."
I still remember him saying that.
Yeah. So that was a good bit of fun. I still didn't know who I was. But.
Yeah. So your first time out, did you need any coaching, or did you kind of have it?
You tell me. I don't know. I mean,
Did he make any mistakes as a mummer?
He didn't care. We told
what
him.
mistake do you make? You take your pillowcase off, or whatever you got covering your head, or you give secrets away.
Well, some people, I think, if you weren't from Newfoundland, like, we had friends here at Christmas who had kids. They're originally Newfoundlanders, but the kids obviously are grown up in Ontario.
Right.
So I brought out my ugly stick, and I told them about my Christmas concert in which I had the kids in the school dress up as mummers, and I was describing it to them, and I was watching their faces, and they were just. And their mom said to them, "Can you imagine this happening in your school if people dressed up like that?" And they were just aghast. They couldn't get a handle on it. No concept of it whatsoever. But I mean, at least he knew what mummers were.
Yeah.
And he might have said, "Okay, well, how does this work?" I said, "You just keep your mouth shut.
Yeah.
You act foolish.
That wasn't difficult.
If somebody guesses you, you take your mask off. But he was up for anything, so it wasn't a big deal. Here, put this on. Just put this on. Yep, this is good. Put this on. Okay, come on, let's go."
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't hard.
What makes for a good disguise?
Something that if you can disguise your shape, which is really hard to do. Your head to one of our friends, Mary's husband, had a beef bucket one year. Did Mary tell you that
She
story?
told me about this.
That was awesome. He
Yeah.
had a big beef bucket over his head, and I thought, great. And he had eye holes drilled out, so that completely took away any form.
Yeah.
It's really hard to do though, because I'm tall and I keep dressing up with lots of clothes on and try to put a few pillows in and stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm not.
You're not going to get away from the fact that you're tall.
Yeah, and I'm not as broad as a lot of guys are.
Right.
So I don't know. I think that's the hardest part. I can put on all my foolish outfits, but you got to have something that changes your shape.
Yeah.
So if you walk differently, sometimes I do that because that hides your height a bit. So I might stoop and like drag one foot or something.
Yeah.
And if there's any chance they know who you are, you keep your mouth shut because they're going to know your voice.
Right.
Unless you can totally change it. Like if you go in somewhere where you know they might have half a clue, then you don't mind, just talking a bit foolish or what like this, and they might get you. But if you go in somewhere where they know you, they're going to pick you up right away.
Right.
So you just shut up.
Right.
Say nothing.
Huh. So, so many years of mummering, there must be like a gazillion stories of things that have happened. Are there any real can you tell me some real memorable years that you went?
Oh my gosh, where do I start? Just thought about this.
The time that you didn't secure your pillowcase, and towards the end of the night it slipped down by your knees.
Well, that was just...
That was difficult to walk uphill. Well, difficult for you. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
One time, not so pleasant. There was a dispute between one of the people we were with, and we had been visiting their cousins.
Okay.
And when most of us went out to the car to get back in the car, there was a small physical altercation back in the porch. And anyway, that was an interesting end to that mummering evening.
Yeah.
Usually doesn't go that way though.
Yeah.
That's definitely the exception. I don't know. We've been in cars. With carloads of people driving around.
Yeah.
We've been walking.
Yeah.
In the rain, pouring rain.
My sister went one year, she traipsed all over the groves in Furland with crutches on. I remember we fished her out of somebody's hedge. Oh no, you weren't with us.
I wasn't with you.
We fished her out of somebody's hedge one night because she lost one of her crutches and she went into a hedge. We've had a buddy come with us with his guitar case. A cloth guitar case he lugged all over Furryland and it got soaking wet. And he had, the same night he had like his mother's bra on or his grandmother's bra on, he had 2 apples
In the bra.
right here. And we went to one house and the older guy who owned the house sat there and went, yoink. Ate 1 apple, stuck the core back in, took the other one, ate it, stuck it back in, and he went around the rest of the night with the 2 cores in his bra. Oh my gosh, I don't know. I know years ago, I think mummers were more mischievous, like in my parents' time.
Okay, tell me about that.
Okay, so there was, a lot of times, there's a big guy who were good friends with Mom and Dad, and he would always come, but he'd always come with a big sheet over him. And they'd say, now watch him, he's going to take some. And so everywhere they went, he would swipe something. And one year we lost a can opener. No big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, they bring it back the next day.
Right.
They went into another lady's house and there was a big fruitcake, huge fruitcake. She had a big family thing coming. And she said, don't you dare touch my fruitcake. And they all did their thing. They had to drink, they carried on. They went back out to the car and he said, well, you never got away with your fruitcake, did you? And he said, come here. And they opened up the trunk of the car and right in the rim where the spare tire was a great big fruitcake. And they ate the works of it that night. What else happened? Over at another of my parents' friends' houses, they had a big back deck. Everybody used the back door. And there was a big crowd in there, so like everybody left their footwear out on the back deck. And somebody came along while all hands were inside, pitched every shoe and boot up on the roof. Every one of them. And this was in the middle of winter and all hands were having a few, so somebody had to shimmy up on a ladder, which probably wasn't very safe, and get all the footwear back before anybody could go anywhere. Yeah, and another story, my dad and mom were teachers. So, before the 12 days of Christmas were over, usually they had to go back to school. They had to go back to work.
Right.
So in those days, there was like a party every night. People go back to work now and they go, oh, quiet, didn't see anybody, didn't do anything. We're not usually saying that, but other people do.
Yeah.
And but then it was the 12 nights of Christmas. There was something going on, and there was mummers on the go every night. Anyway, this was the night before Mom and Dad had to go back to school. And he said, no, they'd been partying for a week at that point. And they said, no, we're not getting up. They heard the mummers on the go. No, not getting up. Beat on the door. And of course, see, in a small place, they're beating on the door. They know it's one of their buddies on the other side of that door just tormenting them, right? So they're beating on the door, and he's like, no, I'm not getting up. Dad had a Christmas tree outside on the front step with lights on it.
Uh-huh.
He heard him doing something with the Christmas tree. He said, I don't care. I'm not getting up. So he gets up the next morning, there's not a bulb left on the Christmas tree. The boys have unscrewed every single bulb and taken them. They didn't bring them back, but because they wouldn't let them in,
Right.
they stole all the bulbs. So I don't know if we've done too much. We've done a bit of fooling around. And
That's more me. I mean, you don't get into that too much.
You do a bit of pranking?
I do a bit of pranking. Like, I'll go to one guy's home where they've got lights around their dining room window, and the way the patio is, you can walk up and you can walk in front and look in. So I'll try and do it so they don't see me. So I'll get down on all fours and I won't take the bowls while on spoon them so they go off.
Oh yes.
And they know it's me. They call
Mary
me.
did that this year at another house, and he got blamed for it.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's your signature move.
Apparently.
I got a text the next day that said we thought the Christmas lights were gone, but then we just realized they were all unscrewed. I wonder who did that. Ha ha ha. And I said it actually wasn't him, because it was Mary.
At that house, I'm notorious for giving them their bacon back.
Yeah, we just
Yeah,
carry
that's
on.
just
Like,
foolishness. They
I
got
don't
a deep
know,
freeze
like-
out in their porch, so I'll just rummage through it. And the first time I did it, hey, bacon. So I went in and I said, Merry Christmas. Here's a pack of bacon. It was his own.
Right. Yeah.
So I just do it every year. So
so for a couple of years he was called Bacon. Where's Bacon? Where's he too? We haven't done anything.
nothing too
Ridiculous.
really bad. No, it's just little
I don't know. I'm
Innocent-
half afraid because
innocent
you don't.
fun.
If somebody sees a mummer out in their yard doing something, you don't know what they're going to do now.
Yeah.
You know.
You're half afraid?
Well, I don't want to get the cops called. I mean, most people, or worse again, get people you live around get pissed off with you, which
Yes.
would probably be worse.
I doubt that they'd be actually calling anybody.
We've woken people up. I mean, that's what
Oh,
mummers
yeah.
do. But we haven't done anything really
No.
ridiculous. Not that I can remember.
I
Anyway.
mean, people have turned us away
Yeah.
late at night, and we haven't done anything. We're just, all right, thanks a lot, have a good night, see you later, and then
Yeah.
we go on our merry way.
How often does that happen?
Very rare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually it's later in the evening,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and people are just going to bed. We just want to go to bed. Because you go into a house, you could be there anywhere from half hour or longer.
Yeah.
Well, it depends.
Depends on the number of people with you.
You need someone with you
The
who's
number
gonna
of
go.
songs.
Okay, drink up. It's time to go.
Yes.
You need a timer. You need someone to say, okay, now that's enough. Because if you get, you get in, you
You
start
get too
gathering.
comfortable.
Yeah.
You do Christmas visiting.
You're doing 4 or 5 songs. Sandy's doing a couple. Everybody
Yeah.
wants to hear the mummer song that Sandy does,
Well,
which is great.
but we usually have one person who's going. Okay, boys, come on, time to go. We got to get to another house. Let's go.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I don't want to. You kind of don't want to burn too many bridges these days because you go. I like going to the places we go. We go to a lot of the same houses,
Yeah.
and we
Which
have
is-
lots of fun.
Which is getting to the point now where, oh, Janine and Craig are here.
So it's not too hard to guess
No.
these days.
Not. When we keep going to the
It's
same
better this year,
houses.
It was better this year.
Well, I don't know, because when we went to the last house, I wasn't even in the front step, and they said, "Come on in,
Oh
Craig."
yeah, but there was 11 of us this year.
Ah.
It always starts off, there's 4 of us planning, okay, we're going this night, and then we'll tell a few, you're going to be around, you're going to be around. And more people are bringing more people with them. So relatives are home. Mary had relatives home. They all came with another friend up the road. His daughter was home from away. She came with, you pick up a couple of stragglers, and then it's harder to get guests.
Yes.
You need to go with different people.
Yeah.
Yes.
And,
Okay.
in the beginning, I'd get Mom to come, and then one of Mom's buddies, and then we'd get another lady. So you wouldn't, they wouldn't necessarily think me and Mom would be out at the same time.
Right.
So if you need a different crowd. That's what makes it really good, because then it takes you a while to get guests.
Yeah.
Right. Mixing it up like that.
Yeah,
Huh.
yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. How do you decide a day to go?
We just usually look at our schedules, Christmas time, and go, okay, we got to plan a night, because I think lives have gotten so busy that if you don't plan it, it won't happen. There's a lot more stuff happening than there used to be. Like when mummers would come to the house years ago,
Yeah.
they'd say, okay, now Jean, put your coat on. Come on, you're going. And
Yeah.
Mom would go. Or Father would go with them. They'd go and they'd pick up people all the way around.
Yeah.
But now it's not, I don't know. For things to work out, it doesn't seem to be quite as spontaneous. We try to plan it to make sure that we're going to be home, because we got parties on the go. They've got stuff on the go. So if we can get our core crowd together for one night, then we see who else we can round up,
Right.
to go.
Do you, when you visit people, do you find some people come along with you, or
Scatter time.
scattered?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that hasn't happened for a while.
Not
When
much
we go,
so.
someone says, "I'm going with you," or we'll say, "Why don't you come on with?"
Yeah. No, I don't know. It seems it's more of an unknown entity, I guess, with people who are not used to doing it.
Yeah.
And if they don't do it, they don't want to tag along. But then every now and again we'll get, Oh yeah, like Mary's niece. What was her name? Sarah.
Yeah.
Just 19-year-old, 18-year-old. Yes, I'm going. Come on.
Yeah.
Or the cousin is in town for tonight or whatever. So
Yeah.
yeah, you get a scatter one, but not as many as you used to years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't get your mother to go now.
No, you kind of.
Or your father. Your father's never. Aside for that time he drove us, your father's never actually gone with us. Your mother
Not
only.
since-
Your mother's
not
only
since you've
gone us
been
when-
around.
No, not since I've been
No,
around.
his
Yeah.
dad used to too, but
Right.
yeah,
But
that's it.
Do you when it comes to coming up with a disguise, do you plan that at all in advance, or is that more spur of the moment?
over the years we've built up our supplies. We'll hit the local thrift stores and
Yeah.
rummage through and buy stuff, and we got a Rubbermaid container downstairs full of stuff, so we just grab from that.
Yeah.
Sometimes we'll pick up.
I
new
raid
stuff.
my dad's stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
I go home and a lot of years I just go home and I go, okay, Dad, I need an outfit. What do you got this fit to put on? Like a pair of overalls or something and a big pair of rubber boots and
And the Flyers jacket or the
yeah, he's got one hockey jacket that he
Yeah.
won the championship one year. He's a bit particular about, so I don't
senior
try not
hockey.
to take that one.
Yeah.
But I'll take anything. But you try not to take anything recognizable either.
Of course.
You know,
right.
like if I'm going around the harbor in the jacket Dad wears all the time, they're gonna know it's me.
Yeah. Right.
But
Huh.
so I swipe stuff from home. I always did. I still do. But now, like if I'm at Value Village or Piper's or wherever, and I go, oh, that might work.
Yeah.
I'll just buy one in this size and stuff it away for Christmas.
What sorts of things would you see like that would be like, that's really good for going out in the mummers?
I got like a big old lady house dress, like the
Okay.
velvety ones with the little half zip here.
Yeah.
I picked up one of those this year somewhere for $10 at a thrift store.
obnoxious pants and shirts.
Really nasty pants.
Yeah. A lot of bad plaid. No
Bad
offense
plaid.
to anyone who likes plaid.
Pillowcases, curtains,
Yeah.
sheets sometimes, depends. I don't know about footwear. We usually stick to footwear. You gotta have something half sensible because
Yeah.
usually we walk.
Okay.
Yeah, usually we just wear the.
But usually I
Rubber
wear
boots.
like men's rubber boots, which are pretty generic. So
Yeah.
and plus they're easy to get on and off if you're going in and out of a lot of houses, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You don't want to be caught bending over doing up a lot of laces.
Plus then you gotta have a big pair of heavy socks or something on your feet.
Yeah.
Right.
So they don't go, oh look, that's a woman's foot.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
You gotta make sure your hands are covered up.
Right.
Can't see, like, if I wear a shirt like this and I wear a glove that comes to here,
Yeah.
you're gonna know I'm not a man.
Right.
So it's gotta be something to go up over here. So like skidoo mitts and stuff like that are good.
Yeah.
Oven mitts.
Something around your neck. You don't want, like a lot of times you'll tuck in, pillowcases are good because you can tuck them in,
Ah, yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And I can tie my hair back, but I'll never totally hide it. But if I can tuck in a pillowcase and then put something over this and like a hat or a, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
So-
think we've ever used masks, have we? Just pillowcases.
Masks are too warm, I think.
Yeah.
The rubber masks,
Oh,
the
yeah.
scary Halloween masks.
Oh, yeah.
I got a couple of them, but they're not. Plus, your eyes are right there. So,
Yeah.
but any odds and ends, usually old coats, old men's shirts, ugly men's shirts.
Mm.
It could be anything. But something because you need layers on. You need room for layers because it's gonna be cold
Yeah.
if you're walking. So,
Right.
Yeah. And it's gonna be warm when you're in the house.
yes,
So you gotta be able to take off some layers
I'm
and
gonna be able to
Yes.
peel off a bit.
Yeah. Well, that helps with the sergeant. Come on, let's go.
Yeah.
So you're not roasting.
Well, yeah.
And I guess if you gotta pee, it's also
If you gotta go, you gotta go.
you gotta have.
You either go into the house or you go around the corner of the house.
It can be a nightmare. From the female perspective, it can be a nightmare.
Do you ever dress accordingly for that?
I've learned my lesson a couple times. It's like, oh, this is just too much work. And it's like, no, I can't wear this again next year. Like overalls and layers of stuff and then something over the overalls and, oh
Ugh.
my. I remember one year I had a hoodie on. I had my dad's hoodie on. And we stopped at a house rather late in the evening. And I went to the bathroom and I basically had to peel off just about everything I had on in order to use the bathroom. we get back out on the road, and I was trying to put my hood up. Can't find my hood. Where's my hood? My hood wasn't there. I got home, my hood was here. I put it on backwards. Oh, look at that. So you never know what you're going to come home looking like either.
Yeah.
In the mummers. Yeah.
I guess it can go pretty late.
If you can find somewhere to get in, it can.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you can find, like, if there's a party going on somewhere, you'll probably leave that for your last stop.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
You know?
this year, what we were there for a good hour and a half, 2 hours
Yeah, we were there for a good while.
at least.
We kind of fell into a family gathering
Yeah.
at about 11:30 or 12, and we wanted a few tunes, and there were less inhibitions among the new mummers at that point in the evening, so all hands were up for a good time, and we just stayed and sang songs and gabbed, and like most of us knew each other,
Yeah.
so we just hung out,
Yeah.
and had our visit and our carry on,
How do you, like, what goes into planning your route for a night? Do you do much planning? Do you have a sense of where you're going to go first and where you're going to end up? And does it change throughout the night?
I think it's more of just the homes we're going to hit.
Yeah.
Let's start with the one that's closest to the house, and then we just go from
Sometimes,
there.
though, we don't always do that.
No,
If we know there's something going on, or
more often than not, though, we go.
but like,
Not necessarily planned route, it's just everybody's here, okay, let's go across, like we went this year, where they had the shed fair, they were
oh
watching
yeah,
the
right,
hockey
they were
game.
watching the hockey game, so we went there first.
So we went there, and then
Yeah.
we just, there was the next house that was from that, so we went to there. It's not like we're going all over the place. It's
Yeah.
usually following some sort of a pattern.
But
Right,
like,
yeah.
if we're picking up a net, like if there's someone that wants to come
Right.
with you,
Then we'll plan it.
okay, well we gotta walk in there first, and then we'll work our way back.
Right, yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
We go to a lot of the same houses, but it seems like every year we hit a new one here or there. And sometimes we don't get to the regular houses just because we've, been bummering here and there and wherever. You know, and someone will say, come on, let's go into so-and-so's house. And you're like, well, I don't really know him that well. No, he likes mummers, come on in. So we'll go in there. So we hit a lot of the same ones, but I can't say always the same ones.
Yeah.
More
Yeah.
often than not, we're going to the same one. There's a core.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
we're walking.
If we're walking, yeah. But we haven't driven for a long time. Not as much fun when you're driving.
No, but you tend to go like further afield then.
Yeah.
You know, like we've had people drive us when we go to Eckford or we go to Calvert for a house here or there, but I think half the fun of it is walking.
Yes.
Tell me about
absolutely.
that. What goes on during the walking?
Oh, it's a hoot.
Yeah.
You're trying not to fall down. You're trying to see where you're going.
Try not to get run over.
Try not to get run over. Try not to drop your beer.
Trying to adjust for the next
Trying
house.
to hide the beer on the cop who drives by as soon as you take the beer out. I don't think it's a big deal, but
Yeah.
It also helps towards the end or later in the evening. Helps sober you up a little bit because you're
well,
out in the
straight jumping.
fresh air.
Yeah.
Yeah, as opposed to you're in the car. Ooh, not too good.
You're singing out and you're laughing and you're carrying
Yeah,
on.
it's just more fun walking.
Yeah, it's almost like a reunion too, because we have a crowd that go, and then you're all catching up. Okay, what about this? What were you at? Who did you see? And then someone will chime in. Oh, so and so's home for Christmas. We should go drop in and see them. And like Joe Sprazzle and Martin, we walked up there.
Yeah.
Or so and so has kids. Let's go there first before the kids will still be up and that kind of thing. But the walking is a hoot.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, remember the time we went to what's his name? Ran down Cayman Islands.
Oh, Kenny.
Kenny. We
Yeah.
went to Kenny's mother's place.
Grandmother's. Yeah.
Grandmother's, sorry.
Yeah.
Now Kenny hasn't lived home for ages, so he came home with his girlfriend from London, wasn't it? The UK somewhere.
Yeah, the mother was a Kern from Ferryland, and nobody lived in their family house anymore. But she had just come up for the night with her son and his girlfriend who
Yeah.
were home from away. So we said, there's a light to Petty Kearns, let's go in. So we went in. Janet, the mother, was there in her housecoat. She said, oh, no, Mark and Kim are here. They want to see mummers. I'll wake them up. So they came down. We sang some songs. We took a pile of pictures. I guess this story is relevant.
Absolutely.
We went on a cruise a few years later, and we were in the Cayman Islands. We're just bumming around. Craig had to use the bathroom, so he goes into this bar. There's a guy behind the bar who looks kind of familiar. And I'm going, no, it can't be. This is Cayman Islands. No, it can't be. Anyway, I thought about it all day, and we said, Craig, before we get back on the boat, I got to go find out who that guy is, because I think I might know who he is. So it's this guy that we had met once in the Mummers in his grandmother's house years ago. And I said, now tell me, where are you from? And he said, I'm from Canada, actually. I'm from Newfoundland. And I said, is Jan Kern your mother? And he went, yeah. Like he didn't remember me.
Right.
I mean, we were the guys who hauled him out of bed.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he said, oh yeah. And so we were talking all about it. Oh yeah, yeah. And then the guys next to us were from Nova Scotia, and then said, they thought you were plumbers.
Not plumbers.
They didn't know what plumbers were. So they said, oh, plumbers. No, man, not plumbers. But, anyway, that's how that visit came along. So you're traipsing along and you go, okay, who's still going to be up? Okay, we better go there first, and what about down there? And yeah, so-and-so's having a party, so we'll go there last. Or they'll be up, they won't care, we'll go there last, and, you know.
Yeah.
Try not to freeze to death. Some nights we've had bitter cold, some nights it's been raining and wet snow.
Okay.
Windy. So you could have any kind of weather, but you just go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
So.
Have you found that Mummering's changed over your lifetimes?
Well, from what my mom and dad did, I think.
Yeah.
You know, it's not as commonplace as it used to be.
Mm.
But
Why is that?
I don't know. It fell out of practice, I guess. I mean, I remember, I guess the people I grew up with, in the harbour even, there were, you know, there's still some of them who go now if they're home. You know, but a lot of people don't live there anymore.
Yeah.
And a lot of the people that are living there are older,
Yeah.
so they might not be as inclined to go. And unless, a lot of times the people that come home for Christmas, unless they've got a fairly big connection to the place, you know, like my middle sister who lives in Torbay, she might come mummering with us, you know, but my youngest sister who was home Christmas from Toronto, she would never tell of it.
Okay.
She would never have done that. You know.
And she never did?
No.
Interesting.
So I think we might have dragged her out once when she was really small, but that was it.
Yeah. I wasn't. Yeah, I don't remember her going at all.
No, I don't know. I think it's the connection to the culture more so. People that value the rural lifestyle and the rural, I don't know, the values that go with it. You know, like I love to go home, and I love to be home. And I have lots of friends home, and I hang out home, and that kind of thing. But if you're not one of those people, and there's not as many people of that age home anymore, if that's not what you value anymore, then you're not going to do it. You're not going to see the value in it.
Yeah.
You're not going to try to continue it or make it still happen.
What are the values of the small town that you're talking about?
I don't know. I think familiarity with everyone and almost intimacy, because I go home and I go to church. I like to go to church when I go home. I go to Mass because I see everybody. I know 75% of the people there. We chat, we carry on. And for a lot of the people that we go see when we're mummering, it's almost like a Christmas visit. Hey, how are you? And visiting was something that was done a lot when I was younger, not so much anymore.
And why is that?
I think lives got a lot busier. You know, even us, like we said, we have to plan a night in the mummers.
Yeah.
But even when I was in university, I'd come home at Christmas and I'd spend days going visiting people. I did.
Yeah,
I was like an old
Right.
woman.
You still do it.
Well, I do when I
still like an
can.
old woman.
But we always did that.
Yeah.
You know, when I got to go see Mrs. So-and-so, or I have to go see whoever, and I think that's just a bit of an extension of that. You know?
And that's something I'm assuming you just did all your life.
Yeah.
You had to go visit people.
Yeah.
Even as a child, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah, you
Yeah.
got dragged along everywhere.
Right.
And then when I got my license, I used to bring my nan. My nan always wanted to go see people.
Right.
So of course I spent a lot of time with my nan. So I visited loads of people with my nan.
Yeah.
And that's what we did.
Yeah.
And I think Mummering is part of that, is part of the small town, I don't know, I don't want to say fishbowl, fishbowl's negative, but sense of community, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, it's still there. And even if I don't see these people anymore till Christmas, I know if I have a pillowcase over my head, I can walk into their front door at Christmas and they'll
Yeah.
say, come on in, have a drink, how
Oh,
are
they'd love to
you?
see you go.
They do.
Yes.
They love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. The sheer volume of people living there has gone down, but I think also the connections, for those of us that don't live there anymore, has also diminished to some degree,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
And a lot of people, I mean, a lot of people can't get home for Christmas. I'm lucky I can go home in an hour.
Mm.
You know, I'm not from Port or St. Anthony or, you know?
Yeah.
So a lot of that stuff gets more lost then, I think.
Mm.
We're pretty lucky up our way, I think, in that we've held on to a lot of that,
Yeah.
at least to some degree.
Yeah.
I think it's still authentic with us, where it may not be elsewhere. You know, because it's cool to be Newfoundland now, and Newfoundland culture's in and all this stuff.
Mhm.
I said, geez, we've been doing this all the time.
Right. Yeah.
You know, it never really went away. I mean, it might have dipped a bit, but it was still there, I think.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Why do you keep doing it?
Why do I keep doing it, Craig?
Because you love the time.
No, well, yeah. I think I identify with that. That's who I am.
Yeah.
No, you love going around. You love meeting everybody again. Like you say, even if it's for once a year, you get to go in, talk about how the summer was and how the year was and everything, and we go get to hang around with our friends and
Yeah.
do some gatching and have a good time.
Yeah, I don't know. I always identified with that. You know?
You love it. Love
I do.
it.
Oh, no, I do. I love it. I live for it. I can't wait. It breaks my heart if something happens and we can't go.
Yeah.
You know? But, it's just good times. Like, the Newfoundland kitchen party thing in the Toronto airport.
Yeah.
You know, that's a couple of buddies of mine.
Yeah.
And some people just went, oh God, oh really? It's just cheesy Newfoundlanders. Oh no, they're just, you know, perpetuating the stereotype. Oh really? I cringe. But, Robin Short.
Yeah.
But, I've known those guys for years. That's what they do.
Yeah.
Trust me. He could be sitting right there. Sheldon does not go anywhere without 3 accordions. And Sean doesn't go anywhere without a guitar.
Yeah.
That's just Saturday night with boys.
Yeah.
And they were there with a big crowd of people. And I mean, I know those guys, so I know it was legit.
Yeah.
You know, they weren't trying to attract attention. They certainly weren't looking for a million YouTube hits. This is what they were doing.
Yeah.
They were on a party trip with a whole gang of people.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know, sometimes we get razzed for that, but I still think it's there, you know? Some people play it up, but it's still there.
What's it?
Who we are, does that sound cheesy? Our culture.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't want to sound like a tourism commercial,
Yeah.
you know, but we're still the same people. You know, we've tried to put on our airs and do whatever, but I mean, I still grew up in a community with 700 people who knew, all of them who knew who I was and what I was doing, and if I go home today, they might call me one of my sister's names, but they know exactly which family I am.
Uh-huh.
You know, it's still there.
Yeah.
And if you run into, I crack up laughing because you can be anywhere, even in the metro area, and you hear people talking. Or what I really get a kick out of is when we travel, and we can be all over the world. And we've been very lucky. We've been able to go lots of places, and I love to go lots of places. But you can blindfold you. If you're blindfolded and dropped into Pearson, and the next flight you're getting on is landing in St. John's, you don't ever need to lay eyes on anybody to know you're going home. It's a totally different atmosphere. It's not just the way people are talking, accent-wise. It's the way they're getting on with each other, and they're more they're more cordial and caring. Everything is different about it. Because every time we go somewhere, I remark it. It's like, yeah,
Oh yeah.
we're on the plane. You know, you hear what's going on the plane. Yeah, definitely going home. Definitely, this is the last leg. This one is stopping in Torbay. For sure. Yeah.
Huh.
Did you want to take her out?
Okay.
Yeah, maybe you should. I'm getting a bit nervous. Yeah. Anyway. I hope that makes some sense.
It does. It does. I mean, I think that there's like people look at mummers and they think they look funny and silly, but like I think underneath all that is the visiting,
Yeah.
the social, the connecting, the
Yeah.
things that make Christmas like really special, and
Yeah.
and things have changed here. Like, you know, the way people live their lives have changed, and it probably changes these traditions too. You know.
It has to,
Yeah.
to a point.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like you said, even the scheduling.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that stuff, and like, you know, I was talking with Mary about it, and how like after New Year's it feels like Christmas is kind of over, and like, but you know, there was a time when January 6th was a big night,
Yeah.
you know, but like by the time January 6th comes around, it feels like Christmas is long gone. And we were talking about, I asked her why she thought that. She's like, well, you know, it's different now because people's work lives have changed. Like there was a time when people often, like, their work was seasonal. They worked the summers, they had time in the winters to do this.
Yeah.
And now there's less of the seasonal work, and some people work more full-time or year-round, and so that means they have shorter periods of time.
It's more scheduled too. Like if you're home from the rig or home from Alberta,
Yeah.
it's not built around the 12 days of Christmas.
No,
You
you
know.
got to pack everything in, and yeah. So I mean, those things have changed, I guess.
Yeah, because like my granddad was a fisherman, and I know the winter was well downtime for them getting their nets ready and stuff, but they had their 12 days. It wasn't like now where they could party every weekend. You know, it wasn't. Sure, they might go up to the club and have a dance or whatever.
Yeah.
But Christmas was, nope, no work. We're celebrating, we're spending it with family. You celebrate the 12 days.
Yeah.
And I think there was some religious tie-ins to that as well. You know?
Yeah.
I still don't take down my tree till the 6th of January.
Yeah.
I refuse. I don't care if it's there till the 10th or the 12th or... Dad used to say his aunt who reared him, they'd have their Christmas tree in the front room and it never came down till Patty's Day because it was too cold to go in the front room. So, it's true though. I mean, it was like the story with Dad not getting up with the mummers because they had to go back to work, but the 12 days weren't over.
Right.
You know, Dad was on a different schedule than most of those guys. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it has changed it.
I mean, do you think it's gonna die out?
I don't think so.
No.
No.
Who's gonna keep it going?
Well, guys like you were trying, I think.
Well, I mean, I can do stuff like this, but you know, you actually need people to go out and visit people
Yeah.
in a weird disguise.
Yeah.
So who are the people? That's what I'm kind of wondering. Who are the people who are going to keep doing that?
I'd like to think that there will be enough people who value it currently, who pass those values on to their kids. I mean, there are kids in rural Newfoundland. There's just not as many as there used to be.
Yeah.
And they, I mean, all those kids, they're not going to stay there either. But there are a lot of people, I think, who still value that.
Yeah.
You know, I can see, we don't have any kids, but I know when my nephews get older, I can see lugging them around and sticking a pillowcase over their head and taking them out and doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, there's value in that. Like, we spend some time in the country at my dad's cabin and just going in the woods, and Craig loves to fish, and just even that whole lifestyle. I don't think it'll die, and I think there's more attention paid to it now. I don't know if that, inflates it somehow or makes it more superfluous, but I still think it's still there for real. You know, there are still people living it, and still people who appreciate it and want it to continue and see the value in it.
Yeah.
You know? And I do see a lot of young people, relatives and friends and that sort of thing, who do value it as well.
Yeah.
So I think...
So there are mummers, like you've seen mummers who are in their like late teens, early 20s at this now.
There are some, yeah. You'll see them. And,
Yeah.
you know, I'd say Katie, probably some of her younger friends too,
Yeah.
are doing it.
Yeah.
So I think it'll continue.
Yeah.
You know, the Mummers Festival has shone a light on it, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I remember coming when, you know, I started coming to St. John's when I was in university and thinking, oh my God, I'd never do this out here.
Uh-huh.
It just seemed completely foreign. Like, but everything was completely foreign then,
Yeah.
you know? But, no, I think it's good. Like, every year we seem to gather up a few new people.
Mm.
And we get a few more people doing it.
Yeah.
And one of our friends, whose son is about 8, Brock,
Oh yeah.
they've been coming with us now for a couple of years, and they come to our Christmas party. And you know, we have the boys here with the accordions and the guitars and that sort of thing. And a friend of mine from Petty Harbour commented, I didn't think I'd have to come to Kelligrew's to find a Southern Shore kitchen party. But one of my friend's kids is here, and he's been watching the boys play, and now he's taking accordion lessons.
Huh?
And his mom texted me, I'll be all ready for Janine's party next Christmas, Mom. I can't wait. And my other nephew gets the ugly stick, and you know, we'll whack on that for a bit. And like, we've had mummers come to our party.
Yeah.
So those kids are seeing that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're seeing the fun that's attached with it. And you know, the fact that there's kids here who are 2 up to people here who are 75, and we're all at the same party and we're all having a great time.
Uh-huh.
You know?
Yeah.
So I think that will continue,
Yeah.
because they're growing up in it.
Yeah. I think there's actually something pretty special around parties with people of different ages. You know, you
Yeah.
don't always get
Yeah.
that in some places.
And I would imagine, like, especially for your crew, who are of the older generation, if you will,
Which crew?
well, your parents and Ronnie
yeah,
and them,
yeah.
and like that, when they see the mummers showing up and Brock next year, or hopefully now this year, started playing the accordion
And the accordion,
and
yeah.
the ugly stick coming out, I'd say they love seeing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one year he came when he dressed up with his parents and came to the party all dressed up as mummers.
Yes.
You know, so they're doing it for fun, and I do it. I'm a music teacher, and I do it in school with the kids, and they have a blast.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And this year I said, now how many of you have actually had mummers come to your house? Because I teach in a small community too. I teach in Holyrood. And I don't know, a quarter to a fifth maybe
Yeah.
had ever seen them for real, we'll say.
Right.
But,
And that's in a kind of a small place.
well, yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely not town.
Yeah.
You know, it's definitely removed somewhat. But,
Yeah.
no, I think there's enough to keep it going.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd like to see it keep going. I'll be at it till till I'm in my powered wheelchair with snow tires on it.
No one will know that.
No one will know. For sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I had one other question now that I thought of it, because you said you're a music teacher. You must go out with music, do you?
Oh,
When
yeah.
you go?
Yeah.
What do you bring with you?
I don't usually bring anything. Well, no,
Or do
that's a
people
lie.
just usually have it at their house?
If there's a piano, I'll play it.
Yeah.
Sandy brings
He
guitar.
brings his guitar. Like, you don't bring an instrument. You
I
don't
do
bring
ugly
it.
stick.
Yeah.
That's an instrument.
What key is it in?
That doesn't matter. It's an
Key you
unpitched.
use.
It's an unpitched percussion instrument. It's an instrument.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't bring any music or anything. It's just all in your head to play or sing.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah, but you bring an ugly stick. That's your instrument.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they have that little
Yeah.
accordion. Sometimes they bring that, but that's usually just for show.
Sometimes
Yeah.
we'll play a beer bottle.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's in their bottles. Spoons. Oh, spoons. I brought spoons one
Yeah,
year.
that's right. Spoons.
Yeah.
Is she okay?
Yeah, she's fine.
Puking.
No.
No, we bring it. A couple of places we go, well, they have pianos, so I'll play, but I'll sing.
Yeah.
Sandy will sing.
Yeah.
You know, we don't necessarily need guitars to sing. We'll just sing
Yeah.
Yeah.
and carry on.
Will you sing anything?
It's usually
fine. Know it.
it's usually geared towards Newfoundland culture.
Yeah.
You might get the occasional John Denver country road song.
Oh yeah, country stuff maybe.
Stuff like that.
Country, Irish, Newfoundland, that's pretty much
It'll
what
be
you're
Christmas, it'll be the Mummer song. Might get, you might do your mole goat.
getting. Yeah, might be John Morrissey.
Yeah. Huh.
It's good fun.
On the clapper.
You're the clapper,
Yeah, I'm the clapper.
You're keeping the beat.
Not even that. I'm just the clapper.
No. That's part of it though. I don't think it was necessarily all the time with mom and dad.
Mm.
You know, the rare time they would have somebody with them with a guitar.
Yeah.
But I guess where I am involved in music,
Yeah.
you know, I get know people around me, and we always go and sing, and most of the crowd will come with us and they'll sing along with us, you know,
Yeah.
and certainly the crowd we visit,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
they'll know their songs and
Right.
they'll sing along with us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's fun, and then we'll dance and carry on, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's good
A lot
fun.
of times they won't let you leave unless you do a song.
Oh yeah. Especially if they know it's us and
Yeah.
Sandy's got his guitar. Okay, come on now.
Yeah.
Two more
Do it.
songs, two more songs. They haven't done the Mummer song yet,
Yeah,
so on and so forth.
yeah.
Huh.
We crashed a dance once. Well, I did.
You
Me-
did?
Me and Sandy did.
You and Sandy, the rest of us waited in the car.
Yeah, there was a dance on.
They
I'm like,
wouldn't let
I'm
you
going
in.
in.
But they wouldn't let you in unless you showed your face.
Well, I can understand that. No, I could.
Yeah, I know.
They thought we were probably just freeloaders, but we just went in, you know. And they said, and one of the ladies that worked on the committee said, look, I had to ask you who you are. And I said, it's me, and that's whoever it is. Okay. I said, we're only coming in for 10 minutes. Okay, go on. So we went in and danced and had a couple scuffs and left again.
Yeah.
No biggie.
Do you feel different when you're dressed as a mummer than your everyday life?
No.
Does it make
No.
you act? Does it make you act
Really?
differently, or is it kind of like the
It
same?
probably let you act a little more foolish.
Yeah.
But
You're probably already foolish. in real
we're
life,
foolish
anyway.
enough anyway. We
Right.
do it ourselves. Mary would know that. So
Yeah, no, I don't know. It's no more, like, one of our good mummers friends had a 60th birthday party in, was it June?
yes,
So Craig and I decided to rig up in the mummers.
Mm.
It's only across the road from my parents' house at home.
Yeah.
And my mom, well, I wouldn't tell my mom. So we were getting ready to leave because mom and dad were coming with us. And we came up from the basement
dressed up.
dressed up as mummers. My mother was mortified. You're not going out with that on you. Yeah. I knew she was going to give me grief, so I didn't tell her. You're not going with that. Well, it was a hit.
Yeah.
It was a hit. We went over there with our foolish outfits on. The cars still blew at us when we crossed the road in June. They must have thought we were nuts. And no, I mean, that's nothing. I sat there all night at the party with my big red dress and my big red bra and my big blue dress on. And just,
I changed. It was too warm.
Yeah.
I caved.
Nah. Nah, it's just fun.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say we act any real different.
We have to pretend. We have to try to act differently.
If
We have
anything,
to try not to act like ourselves.
if anything, yeah, that's it. Like we go into Wayne sometimes, and Wayne said that once.
Yeah.
Well, that foolish Craig isn't here because nobody's getting into a deep freeze, and I just stood there doing nothing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
you
did that
tried a
one year
different
too.
approach.
Yeah.
I did that one year. I went in and I sat down. I never made a sound. And he said, "Well, there's not a Jerome White's crowd here because they'd be tearing the place apart if they
Yeah.
were here." So I just sat there.
They clued in after.
Eventually, they figured out it was us.
Yes, exactly.
It's not easy.
Sneaky. Very sneaky.
The crew we hang around with usually they don't need an excuse to act foolish
Yeah.
and have a good bit of fun.
I think that's part of it too, though.
Well, you can't take yourself too serious.
No, and I think some people do.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
it's like,
You know,
oh, I don't know if I can't. Like sometimes the crew that comes down from Ontario,
But they don't know. They
but they don't know.
they don't have a reference point.
But exactly,
You
they don't know what they're not even really feeding off us until later in the evening.
Yeah.
With, all right, well, if they're getting away with this, then we can get a little more foolish too. But that's, I don't know, that's just, if it's something you've never done before, and that's a huge culture shift for something like that,
Yeah.
to be thrust into that, and then, what do I do? Right?
But I think, you know, you're going to places where you know people and you know
Yeah.
what the people are like, and they will welcome you. And they want you to carry on and have a laugh. And even if they are not comfortable with doing it, we've gone some places, and I know some of them would never ever go out in the mummers, but they can't wait for us to come.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
because they enjoy it, but it's not in them to do that.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
so
So you need to find the wild, rowdy, fun, loving people, social people to keep these things alive.
I don't think that's too hard.
No, I don't think so. Either.
Not around here.
No.
Good crew to go with and have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the main thing.
Cool.
Having fun, staying safe.
Not taking yourself too seriously.
Yeah.
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 Do you find anyone is like scared about mummers?
Sometimes kids are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kids have more of a fear of masks now, I find, in general.
Yeah. Yeah.
So sometimes we've encountered that, and we'll go, oh, you know, Shane is home. Remember when Shane was home?
Oh yeah, that's what I was just thinking of.
And he would bolt in his bedroom.
Yeah.
Now, his father was out in mummers
All the time.
all the time.
Or he'd hide under the kitchen table.
Yeah, he did.
Because the pillowcase or the mask was on. But as soon as you took it off and he knew who you were, he'd come out.
Right.
And we'd be chatting away and having a grand old time for an hour. Time to go. Before we leave the house, we go put the pillowcase on or the mask again. He's gone under the table or he's gone in the room again.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't know, I guess it's like some people don't like clowns.
No, they don't.
Yeah,
Some kids have
yeah.
a real fear of
Yeah,
stuff like that. So
yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
You
He's
know.
older now and that doesn't bother him.
I
Grew out
don't
of it.
think, I don't think about it anymore. No.
But no, we haven't really encountered it too much like that. We're pretty good in the sense that if we know that there's somebody that's freaked out about it, we'll take off the mask and let them know that it's us.
The only time, you know, if the rare time we've gone to a house where they wouldn't let us in, probably, I don't know, they didn't know who we were, or they weren't expecting us, you know. But again, it's very rare,
Yeah.
Yeah.
very rare for anybody home
Right.
to not open your door to mummers,
Yeah.
you know.
That's amazing. Yeah, I think Fairland is probably one place where it's got to be going the strongest. But do you find that people don't go out as much now, or there's still like people mummering pretty much every night over the holidays?
I don't think they're mummering every night.
No, I
Yeah.
don't think so. I can't remember the last time that we've been out and there's been another crew out.
Yeah, you never run
There-
into.
We never run into them.
One year, Andre and them were on to go the same night we were.
Yeah, but I can't remember
But
the last
that's-
time when that was.
Yeah, it doesn't
Like
happen
it's
that often.
no, it doesn't happen that often.
Not
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
You know, years ago there'd be conglomerates here
Yeah.
and there, and then they'd meet up and they'd all pile in somewhere.
Now
and
that's
it's just-
awesome.
Oh yeah.
Or we go into a house and say, yeah, the mummers just left here about half hour ago, so we know somebody's on the go.
Yeah.
There's so many side paths and everything in Fairland. Sometimes you run into them, sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, but see, when I was mummering first, when I was younger, that's what had happened. You know, especially if somebody was driving their father's van or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, and then you'd hook up with another bunch, and that was fun because then everybody would pile in on the floor. Nobody had a clue who anybody was because you get one person, but sure, this one had absolutely nothing to do with that one, so it would take forever to guess them, and that would be fun.
Yeah.
To get rather warm, however.
Yes.
Didn't get guessed in a hurry. That's another thing. My mother would never go in the mummers without straws
Without straws.
because she said if you didn't get guessed, you couldn't drink because you couldn't lift up your mask.
Right.
So
Yeah.
my mother never went out without straws.
Yeah, but you're not supposed to be given a drink until the mask comes off.
Depends on the house. Some
Yeah.
places wouldn't give you a drink
I would.
until they knew who you were.
Yeah.
I've been in there where you
More
come
so
in,
now.
the
Well-
door just closes, everybody's in. Now who wants a drink? The masks are still on.
Yeah.
I'm used to it being you don't get a drink until that was all part of we got to guess you. So
Yeah.
otherwise you can sit there and sweat for all we care.
Yeah, that would part
Right.
you know, throwing on a drunken stove.
Yes.
We're not letting them out.
We're not
until we
letting them
figure
out
out-
until we figure out who you are. And you're not getting a drink until we figure out who you
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
It's all part of the fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it can get hot in those sheds
Yeah.
with the big stoves.
I've had.
The cold beer that everybody's drinking and we're not.
Well, I think I'm out of questions. I think that was great. Unless there's something else that I didn't ask you, or it's something you remember that. I
I've
don't
been
know.
thinking about it now for a while.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. There's a million. I'm sure there's a million stories, but
There's been so many
yeah.
nights. It's been so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a blast.
Yeah.
It's a blast.
Yeah.
I think I always said to my youngest sister, you don't know what you're missing. Come on. But I don't think she could let her guard down enough
Yeah.
to do it.
But she grew up with it. I can't believe she never caught on to it.
No, it was
That's
never
it.
her thing.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'll turn that off there now.